Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
I can brag your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing. Woo!
What up, BVK? It is draft day. Draft day. That means we are going to be choosing our top squads. And this week is a banger, folks. This is, oh man, this list, I had so much trouble developing my list because there's so many good options here. We have Josh from Hoisting Heavys. You might have heard him on the last pod talking about Tommy Boy. Josh is here ready to draft with us. We're going to be drafting the most memorable comedy movies starring SNL alumni.
So there's two keywords there, Brad. What are those?
Starring
and comedy, right?
and comedy.
So these are comedy movies.
They have to be comedies
that are starring an SNL alumni.
And starring is very much a key word, and that might lead to some arguments here,
Yeah.
which I'm ready for.
Yeah. Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
And SNL alum is also kind of the third keyword here, because what constitutes an SNL alum? I have very strict definition in my own brain. We'll see what your definitions are.
If you ever hosted the show, right?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I love how literal you guys are, because anything is open for interpretation, but not when you walk into this. I heard the cyborg discussion.
Oh,
and,
robot cyborg.
Yeah.
Don't even get me fucking started.
The robot. And I'm a little nervous, I'll be honest. But you know what? I came with my iron on. You know, I put on my best chain link just in case things were going to get contentious. And so I'm ready to rock and roll, boys.
It's a thing that went away that I wish would come back.
Robots?
Like, no, like chain link, like vests, or like, have you ever worn have you ever felt like
chainmail,
cool
Chain
metal,
mail,
like on your nipples, like directly on there? It's fucking great, dude.
Yeah?
Just saying.
So you could just have like a little chainmail underneath, like your little, you got like a little vest on, little chainmail underneath.
Yeah, it's like we've gone back to like the shorty short jeggings, and we're also
shit. If we could wear short
jorts and chainmail,
short jorts and chainmail shirts. Dude. Holy shit.
Could you imagine what it was like back in like the medieval times? They had like chainmail wife beaters. They must have called them like plebeian beaters or something, where they just rock these like
wench beaters.
Sick wench beaters. Wench beaters.
Sick wench beater, bro.
I think we just found some new merch. Some wench beaters.
I don't know. Dude, does chainmail, now I'm sure like the Mythbuster guys did it or something, but does chainmail like stop bullets?
No.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Stop shark bites.
Oh, definitely it does.
Let's try it.
Okay.
I think we should try to see if we can get the police to get rid of the Kevlar and go full chainmail.
Chainmail.
Just chainmail?
For sure.
Well, I feel like maybe we should go chainmail and just like kind of start that first. We don't want to
like pinch your nipples every once in a while, like your chest hair. You'd have to shave.
I want to mix it up a little bit. Like I'm not going to go with the full vest. I want like a chainmail sleeve.
Ooh,
like just like a
it's called a gauntlet, bro.
It's called like the Gladiator when he had like the little arm thing, like the little arm shield thing. Yeah,
but in chainmail, like it's flexible.
It's like having a sleeve tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. Except it's
just like your whole arm. I like that.
I'm in on that.
There was never a time where I thought like I would look good in chainmail until I watched Heath Ledger in A Knight's Tale, and that one gal just blacksmithed up some sick ass chainmail for Heath Ledger. And he went out there looking like so dapper. You know, do you remember this?
Yeah, it's Heath fucking Ledger. Bro.
I know. Well, I know we're not Australian, and I know we don't have those beautiful.
I drafted him in our best looking
Brad did.
man draft.
It was a fucking
it did not go over
move.
well.
What? Well, dude, we're not talking about
the right pick. I thought it was the best looking dude, and I thought Heath Ledger when he's looking all just proud on that horse.
He looks great. But I'm saying like you're picking all men in every movie ever, and we're going.
You can't go like 10 Things I Hate About You, Heath Ledger, and you can't go the Joker, Heath Ledger. You got to go Knight's Tale. Heath
Yeah,
Ledger.
I think
but
that's
you don't have to go.
I think you just don't.
They're just saying you don't. They're just saying you just leave Heath Ledger out of the equation.
He stays on the deep bench.
I don't know if you guys have seen
No,
this
I mean,
controversial film.
No, he's great. I mean, he's like the fucking 15th guy off the bench. But I'm just saying, like, there's a starting 5 out there, and he's not in it.
I know he's racist as fuck and in Monster Ball.
Monsters
with Halle Berry and
Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Billy Bob.
I've seen a
But
scene.
he looks
I've seen a
dapper
scene
as
in that
fuck in
movie.
that too.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember this? He's got short hair. He looks like a stallion, dude. Just crazy.
It's just see, but,
like
but
a
anytime I hear
stallion.
Billy Bob, I immediately go to
Sling Blade.
Sling Blade.
oh yeah.
We're in French property.
Yeah, it's like the fact that he can do Sling Blade and then
some people call it
be
Kaiser Blade, I
decent
call it
looking at
Sling Blade.
Monsters Ball. That's pretty wild.
Dude, I'm telling you.
He's got chops, man. All right, so what was it? So you're saying it's got to be a comedy. It's got to be an SNL alum.
And they have to be the star.
The sole star.
They got to be the
I mean,
star.
it could be co-star.
loose
Like,
term, yeah.
But they got to straight up be.
they're
They
a
cannot
lead.
be. They
if you're
cannot
anything
be,
less than the co-star, like, what are we doing here?
Like
Can't be
if
a
you're-
cameo.
Yep.
Billy Madison's a terrible example, but if you were trying to draft Billy Madison because of Chris Farley, that would not work because Chris Farley is the.
Oh, that would 100% not work.
Disagree. He steals the show.
He does.
But
No,
you could
but that's
absolutely
not the
draft
pick.
Billy Madison because Adam Sandler's in it. So of course you could.
Because Adam Sandler stars in it.
Right. All right. So
Perfect.
Along with, who was our boy from that movie that we had on the show? Our friend of the program.
Larry Hankin.
Larry Hankin.
Hankin.
He was not
it's a
on
household
SNL.
name.
All right. So who we have 4 of us here.
There are 4 of us. We haven't had a four-person draft in a while. I'm pretty stoked.
Who's this 4th gentleman?
Oh,
that
we
I
already
have here?
introduced him.
Right.
You didn't hear that?
Did we introduce him?
We did.
I have been hoisting some heavy.
But you know what? I do want to give a quick cheers to Ed. Could not make it.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's give a little cheers here.
Cheers to boy
man.
Ed.
I was going to tell you, I saw a picture of my dude Ed. the other
Yes.
day. And so we go to his house and we're gonna do the podcast and I had seen
We're at
Ed.
Josh's house. We were at
Right,
Josh's.
at Josh's
the
house.
Shab Bass.
I had
Yeah.
seen Ed
The Shabbass.
previously at the beer fest, and he's like a big like a little bit physically imposing and like really long like surfer dude haircut, right?
Beautiful silver
dude,
hair.
right? And like
He's got the lot.
he's
Enviable.
clean shaven, really. And then so I saw a picture of him. And he had like salt and pepper beard and like a short haircut. He looked like a completely different person.
Yeah.
Completely different person. It was wild.
So I got to give you, I know we want to get into this, but let me give you just a little flavor of Ed real quick as to everyone that listens to Ed. He's a voice to be reckoned with, but he's also got a personality of gold. He is like my Tommy boy. He's just got this big heart.
He's got a heart
And-
of gold.
When we started our podcast, we were both growing our hair out. And I actually had really long hair too before I
Really?
made the dip to cut it. And he made a pledge that he was going to grow his hair out for Locks of Love. And that's what he's doing it for.
Oh,
It's
is
now
that
at
why
the
he's
point.
got it
That's
so
the only
long?
reason why it hasn't been cut yet. He's waiting for that length minimum.
It's
so
got to
that
be
he
pretty
can-
long. I think it's like 8 inches,
Dude,
right?
he's up above that. He's got to be close to 10 to 12 now. I mean, it's literally at the point now where, like, if you just took off, dude, I've been trying to pine for like a mullet, that silver surfer mullet that he's got going on. Like,
That he needs to
there's
cut one in.
He needs to cut one in.
I'm in on that.
He's got a natural rat tail in the back too, so it hangs like 3 inches lower in between his shoulder blades. I'm like, brother,
It'd be legit.
that would be such a good smoking hot look on
Throw a
you,
little
dude.
perm on there.
Which is great. I mean, because Ed is a former Marine, and so from going
Exactly.
from the Marine high and tight to all of a sudden now he's got this nice little long lock.
Just
It's
hippieing
a
it out.
Cool look.
It's beautiful.
Josh, I do have to say, and you know, you've met my wife. She was saying that, you know what, you might want to update the Hoisting Heavys logo.
I do need to do that. It's been
And
some
the
time.
reason she said, and this is her specific words, is that your picture makes you kind of look like Fred Durst on the on the logo. She said he kind of looks like Fred Durst on the logo. I was like, I don't know if that's what he's going for, but maybe it is.
know
So
what?
maybe that's actually a compliment.
I love the chocolate starfish way more than a hot dog flavored water. So I can, you know what? We can improvise. We can go with it. You're right, though. My hair's a lot shorter and Ed's is a lot longer. It's time to do a revamp. And we may actually need to get Scotch in to do a
little-
I don't know, musical take for
little
us to
jingle,
do. Yeah, a little
something.
intermission jingle or something. I don't know.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's he was just telling us that he's going to be like, upgrading his equipment in here. I figure it's for the podcast. I figure he's doing this because he knows he's going to be making a lot of money off of these podcasts and doing all the local podcasts. He's going to be like, oh yeah, you need some little hooks and some little
you got to invest.
intros.
You got to invest in your future.
If you want to get in the Bosco Jenkins lab over here, you got to be throwing down 10 G's min.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Simple.
Oh yeah. That's going to be his starting fee for sure. For sure. All right, folks. Hey, do you guys want a draft order?
Let's draft.
Yes, please.
All right, so Zach and I, we headed out to the Hoisting Heavys podcast not too long ago, and on our way, you know what? We just about hit a deer,
Just like
Tommy Boy,
Monster.
and I stopped, and that
Brad,
deer.
if you guys don't know anything about Brad, is that he really likes racing and also drives like an asshole. So
Wait, no, drives like a racer, not drives like an asshole.
when he
drives like
comes
a racer.
around the corners, it's like high and fast, and he comes and dips in. And this little deer was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go over here and get some delicious food from this this young Taiwanese lady's house." And Brad just comes around the corner.
I came rage. I might have knocked into it a little bit, but that deer, it was
Give
a
it a
buck.
little chest bump.
That buck jumped up, and you know what? It came over and it started just going to work. It was just throwing its rack at my car, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And it just going off, and it broke a couple windows.
Racking you, dude.
And then finally we scared it off. And when I went outside, and I looked at the car. Like the first scratches, I was like, "What the hell?" It's like that looks like a word, and it said Josh.
It straight keyed up your shit with the dude's
Yeah,
name.
it just looked, and it said Josh, and then just a little bit further down from that, it said Zach.
Oh, fuck. Second place.
On the side of it?
On the side of our car, like my car, I was like, "This is just terrible." Then a little bit further down from that, you saw Nate,
That's bullshit.
Dude.
and then you know what?
deer.
Actually,
Fuck
it got
that
to the
deer.
hood. It got to the hood of my car and was just working those antlers, and it said Brad. I was like,
That's weird, dude. That the fucking deer
With
would
its
give you the
nubs.
last place, bro.
"Oh, give me the fourth pick,
You're a
which is
deer.
maybe the best pick."
Probably the best pick in the
I think it was
draft.
impressed by my driving.
God damn it.
But that's the case. We've got Josh drafting first, and I will say this a little insight. Before we came over here, I was hanging out with Walter and Josh over at the Last Call Brewery, and at Last Call, Walter says, "Brad, I know Josh's number one pick, and I think it's the right one." And I was like, "Oh, it'll be interesting to see if he gets that number one pick," and he does have the number one pick. So he gets to take his number one pick, and I'm very interested to hear what this is because Walter threw the stamp on it. Walter Ramirez, who's been on our pod before a couple times, and he is now giving the stamp of approval to
I think there's like a
this
wide range.
number one pick. Again, our draft is the most memorable comedy movies starring an SNL alum.
All right, guys.
Josh, you ready to knock this thing out?
Oh my God. I feel a lot of like pressure right now.
Yeah.
There is a lot of undue pressure. In the
Should
room.
feel pressure.
And I'll tell you what, like thinking about all the SNL cast members that have existed. I mean, there's a plethora of them, right? And we spoke a little bit in your guys' last pod about all these memorable characters, but this one to me is one that the first time I saw this movie, you know, I thought it had humor. I thought it was good. I revel back to like the 90s when I'm watching these comedies, and he was an up and comer, and a lot of SNL skits that are very memorable. But for me, this movie has just aged like a fine wine. And this gentleman is the star in this movie, and it would not be the same movie if he had any different co-star who was not an SNL cast member. But I gotta say, for me personally, my favorite movie starring a former SNL cast member has to be Step Brothers. Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly coming together at the head, playing some of the best roles in the fucking Catalina wine mixer that you'd ever seen. These two dudes play idiotic, immature imbeciles better than I could ever do after 12 heavies. I got to give it up to Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Mary Steenburgen. Who plays the dad in this movie? You guys know this. He's a relatively obscure actor. He played in Fun with Dick and Jane with Jim Carrey and Tia Leone. The one who plays the dad. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, I gotta just throw it up to them. Adam Scott's in this movie as well, who plays a great minor role in this. I got to hand it out to Step Brothers. The scenes with the bunk beds. Did we just become best friends? So many one-liners, so many terrific points in this movie.
The karate in the garage.
Karate in the Garage.
dude.
That's a shout out to Last Call. One of their best-selling, actually their best-selling beer.
Their best. It's got to be. It's a fucking assassin.
Karate in the Garage, a double hazy.
It attacked
You
me.
have not
It
tasted
attacked
that.
me
It
last
is
night.
Delicious.
It's got to be a 7.6%er. Just a delicious heavy.
Is it a 7? I think I thought it's almost 8. Is it?
It's probably pretty close to 8.
It's
I
a
had
heavy.
quite a few.
I know.
last
There's a
night.
reason why I didn't drink one of those before we came, because we've been sipping on some BVK, some Sweetwaters, and now this
we've got-
Corona Premier
yeah.
that I'm sipping on, which is only 90 calories, by the way. So
There you
I'm
go.
watching my weight. But I got to go Step Brothers, boys.
Very nice pick. Not too bad. Not too bad. That's a way to start it.
So that leaves me with the second pick.
You do have the second pick.
I am going to go Wayne's World with the number 2 pick in the
Mike
draft.
Myers.
It's a good one.
I'm gonna go-
Dana Carvey. You got the duo action.
I think what you really get is it's one of the only ones that I think is one of the best that is actually like an SNL thing that they've carried over.
It's a sketch that,
It is
that
true.
moved forward into actually being an actual really good movie.
And a sequel.
Yeah. Both
and
of them good.
and a sequel,
And a
which is
sequel.
also out there for drafting if somebody wants to take Tia Carrera.
Oh, Tia Carrera. Good night, dude. That was when I was first starting to explore myself.
Smoke show.
And we didn't have 4K or 1080p or iPads where we could zoom in. But if she had a nip slip, I'd be all in.
Fun fact: Tia Carrera, 38 years old when she filmed Wayne's World.
Stop.
Same age as Bo Derek was.
That's
Tommy Boy.
Why the fuck wasn't Tia Carrera Bo Derek's character in that movie? I'm so disappointed in Siegel's
That's crazy.
decisions.
Nate Dogg, you've got the third
man.
pick here, my friend.
Okay. So I really think I'm a little surprised. Those are both really good picks, but you guys both missed the number 1, which is, I think, clearly Anchorman.
Oh.
Okay.
So like
Will Ferrell again.
it's arguably the best.
I had it 4 on
it's
my list, but I
arguably
can
the best
see it.
comedy of the last 20 years for sure, and it's Will Ferrell's, I think, best movie.
A whale's vagina.
I mean, agree to disagree.
Love that one.
I feel like it's hurt a little bit because the sequel was so forgettable, and
Yeah.
Wayne's World 2 was like pretty good.
So I agree, and I was a huge Wayne's World fan, and if I was going to go extra points for translating, like the fact that it's attached to SNL skit and it's so good and so memorable, and it was, for me, it's such a great movie. I can respect the Wayne's World pick. Step Brothers is obviously a great movie, but for me, like Will Ferrell's career is like anchored by Anchorman,
Agreed.
and so
Is it anchored by
It
Anchorman?
sure is.
Oh, I love that.
sure is.
Lord,
So
that's
that's my first round,
It works. It works on so many levels.
and I'm pretty happy I got it. I got to be honest.
I love Lamp. And by the way, Jack Black in that movie, so underrated. When he kicks the dog off the bridge. Can you please?
Well, just the burrito,
stop?
just
The
the first
burrito.
burrito toss is just, man.
That's like extra $8 worth of that burrito.
Yeah, what a waste of a $8 burrito.
There's quite a bit of carne asada and crema that went out the window just now.
Brad,
All
what
right.
do you got?
Oh, man. Here we go. I got the wrap. So I got 2 here to go with.
Leave
And
me
That's fun.
pick something weird so I can take the next.
You know, I'm good for that. I am good for that.
Yeah, you are.
I'm going to start off with, though, when it comes to top 10 movies of mine, this is a movie that I can watch over and over and over and over and over, and that would be Groundhog Day. Bill Murray.
Such
That's a good
movie.
pickup, man.
Damn, that was really good because I was
That
like, why
is a
does he
great
keep
one.
saying it over and over again? And now I get it.
Was
Sonny
there
and
a
Cher.
joke there?
I was like, where is he going with this fucking shit? Is he trying to pick the one? And now I like it a lot.
It's a tremendous movie. It's every time I watch it, there's so many like little new things you learn from it. And it's got a lot to say about life. I mean, just imagine if you were in that situation, all the stuff that you would do.
What's dope is that it's like the 4th best Bill Murray movie. So I'm glad you picked it with your first pick. I like that.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
So-
Well, and to SNL, you got Chris Elliott, who's an SNL alum as well. So
Chris
you're
Elliott,
dropping
yeah.
a couple.
Cabin
SNL
Boy,
alum
dude.
there.
Chris
There we go.
Elliott.
Chris.
If this draft
So
went
dope.
36 rounds, I would definitely be drafting Cabin Boy for sure.
Cabin Boy is actually a great movie.
It is not a bad flick. And you can't forget, him in Scary Movie when he's mixing the potatoes with his hand, dude. When he's got the mashed potatoes and he's using his strong hand to mix them, You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's a great flick.
Oh, okay. Now, this guy did a very few movies, and you know what? I don't often put the shirt on.
Oh no.
Oh, he's gonna do
But
it.
I think I have to go with Tommy Boy right here because Chris Farley has one great movie in his career. He could have had more, but this is the great movie of
That
his
is a
career.
true statement.
And he was one of the greatest SNL characters, I think, ever. So I'm going to go ahead and take Tommy Boy.
So bonus points in that pick, right, is that it's not one but two really great. I mean, like Farley and David Spade, right, come together to make this movie, which is a great movie. But it's also just, if we were going to rank best SNL characters based purely on their performances on SNL, Spade and Farley are top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, and so
Give me all the bonus points you want, Nate, and we'll just tell Scotch that
you're going
add
to
those
lose, and
bonus
you
points.
took the wrong one. But I love that pick. Okay, well,
You get your second pick now.
yeah. So this was one that I was debating. I don't think this would have been the correct first pick, and I wouldn't have taken either of yours. But I got to go Happy Gilmore.
Oh wow.
So
That is such a good.
Sandler is arguably the most successful in terms of making the most comedies.
Longevity.
I mean,
Net worth.
He kills, right? Like there's no one else. Say what you want about the dog shit movies that are mixed in there, but he's had some real legs, and he has a bunch of really good comedies.
Just imagine being like Netflix just drops off like a sack of like $30 million on your porch, says, hey, just make us a movie in the next year. And they do that every single year. They just drop off another $30 million. Just make
And
us
he keeps
another movie.
banging them out, dude.
I've got an idea. Hubie Halloween. Okay, well, yeah, dude, you gotta.
Hubie Halloween was dope,
That
bro.
movie
You need to
sucked, fat
rewind.
nutsack.
You need to
Like,
run it
literally,
back
I would-
on that shit.
We got a Hubie Halloween fight. I don't think I'm not sure if that's happened in the history of the internet, but there we
I
go.
would rather go to 9th Street Modesto
bro.
and blow a dude with an uncircumcised cottage cheese wiener.
You obviously
before I
haven't
would watch
watched
Hubie Halloween.
enough children's television if you think that Hubie Halloween was terrible.
No,
My
no.
God.
So I mean, he just did Hustle, and
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but supposedly not bad.
It's great. I just watched it.
Okay,
I was a fan.
I'm just saying, so anyway, Sandler for me, and if we're talking comedies, Happy Gilmore's the OG.
That's a great flick.
So you think Happy Gilmore over Billy Madison?
Future picks.
So I think Happy Gilmore over Billy Madison. In fact, I would argue that if I have to really go down to it, I might grab Wedding Singer before I would grab Billy Madison.
Dude,
Wow. Hey, we got draft picks coming up. We're talking a little bit too much about future draft picks. I think we need to slow our
Zero
roll.
some ideas.
If either of those makes the top 16, then someone made an error.
All right.
Wedding
Okay.
Singer is one of my favorite of all time.
I think somebody might be sandbagging over here. They're just like, oh yeah, don't take those. Don't take those.
Maybe. You never know what
I think your third and fourth pick are going to be Wedding Singer and Billy Madison.
Maybe.
All right. Finally, we're back to you, Josh.
All right.
No, wait, no, we're to
Nope,
Zach.
it's
My
no,
bad.
Where it's at. Where it's at.
I- I-
We didn't want to.
We like to skip
Superimpose
Zach
ourselves.
anytime.
We're going to go with the cultural phenomenon, which it was 1984's Ghostbuster.
Oh, wow. That's a really good pick that I did not see coming.
I don't know, man.
Bill Murray is just an absolute killer.
Yeah, but when you take a movie, I mean, listen, regardless of what you think about her, Sigourney Weaver is not a sex symbol, and they tried to sexualize her. When Rick Moranis is into that puss, it's like, I got to question some things, dude. I mean, even if you are fully, what's that term when like a demon inserts itself in your soul? What am I looking for?
Possessed.
Possessed, thank you, by a goddamn alien. And
Right.
she's like into Rick Moranis. I question a lot of things about Ghostbusters just for that one reason. But
You
I
ever
don't know, it's just me.
seen a little,
Zool's a
Little
hell of a
Giants?
drug.
You ever seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? I mean, bro, the guy
Yeah.
is oozing
I mean,
sexual tension.
he does throw out a lot of BDE,
That's all it is.
but I gotta say, for a Canadian guy, I mean, we've
He used that
seen-
enlarger ray on his cock, bro.
I know, dude, if he had
It's-
done that, but I feel like even when he did the shrinking laser on him, his dick was still super duper tiny. I just don't think. I don't know. Rick Moranis. I've seen Little Giants. It just doesn't. He has very.
We've seen Strange Brew, bro.
He puts out a lot of beta male energy, and I just don't know if I can get behind that. But that's just me. That's just me.
I'm going to say Sigourney Weaver in Ghostbusters. I'm going to give her the thumbs up. I think I like that. I like that thing. I like that whole vibe she puts out.
That's cool. I would rather bang Sigourney Weaver in Avatar when she's like getting sucked up by roots of a tree than the look that she put out.
You guys like put your tails together.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd rather mesh with Sigourney Weaver passed out in front of the life tree in Avatar.
While you're free falling because you were flying.
100,000 million%. That's just standard. But that's just me. That's just it's one man's opinion. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, on that note, Josh, you got 2 choices now. You got the wrap, the little reach around here.
Okay. I'm going to go
second and third pick
with maybe one of the most iconic films that I think not just defined our parents' generation, but also kind of eked its way into ours by proxy. And that's Animal House. There are so many memorable scenes in that movie. Not only that, but a great nudie scene in that movie.
Here's where I tell you I haven't seen it. I know.
Stop.
I know.
Stop.
Pretty sure Brad hasn't seen it.
We drafted colleges.
What?
We drafted colleges, and Zach and I both gave fist bumps and said, yeah, we both not seen Animal House.
Wait, the most important question.
Bro, I wasn't even born yet. Like, Way wasn't born yet.
Dude.
I wasn't born for another 5 years. You probably weren't born for another 10 years.
Easily.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thought my dad spanked bank at that time, dude. There was no way that was even, I was not even a blip on the radar. But you guys have seriously never seen
I've seen it.
Thank you, Nate. All right. Has Scott seen it? Because that's the real important question.
Scott's for sure seen it and likes it.
Fantastic.
Scotch was in a fraternity, so he's got that whole vibe going.
Oh, dude. There's this really uncomfortable scene in that movie where like they're at this frat party. And then afterwards, Niedermeyer, he wheels back his grocery store clerk date in a shopping cart to her parents' house and rings doorbell ditches her in front of the house in a shopping cart. It is phenomenal. And she's obviously, he goes up to grab her tits and just a bunch of tissues fall out. It is such a great scene.
Oh, wow.
You have not seen, how have you guys not seen Animal House?
I have not seen
Zach, as you have stated, I'm a young pup amongst this group. I'm like an easy decade minus 7 years younger than you. I'm like 3 years younger than you, and I'm the young pup here, and I'm
a decade minus 7? That's
yeah.
like my favorite addition I've ever done. I'm like a decade minus 7 years younger.
Got to do the proper order of operations there.
I PIMDOS the shit out of that.
All right.
Yeah, no, that is a complete oversight in Zach's and I movie recognition.
There are some holes. I call them. What were we calling them? We're calling them. Oh God,
blind spots.
Yes, movie blind spots.
Yeah,
and that's a big one.
That's a good one. If I had to go with another one, so you guys.
Well, you do because it's your pick.
And you literally do have to go with another one right now.
Yeah. So you guys stated I can't use this one because he's not the star of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to throw an honorable mention, if that's okay, to Caddyshack because Bill Murray in Caddyshack is phenomenal.
Wait a second. You can take Caddyshack.
Why is that?
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase, one of the biggest SNL guys.
Is he the star in it though? Because I feel like
consider him a co-star. I feel like he's in enough.
Dangerfield is the star, right? Or is it the awkward kid who just started growing
tough.
pubes?
I would have accepted it for Chevy Chase.
I would say Noonan is probably the star.
Yeah, I think
the young kid.
Yeah, the kid's got to be.
Yeah, I think Chase is just outside the lead.
So a great coming of age movie.
Interesting. Okay, that's fine. Caddyshack's off the table.
I'll give it an honorable mention, but
if you would have fought for it, I would have given it to you.
Yeah, agreed.
Thanks, guys.
I would have totally.
See, I was down for a good debate, but I figured, you know what? This isn't the time or the place. We've all had a couple sweet
That actually
waters.
took me by surprise a little bit. I was like,
it was on my list.
I was like, why is this controversial?
All right, I'm going to go for a solid third round pick, Austin Powers, because the original. No, not Gold.
You're going the one with Beyonce, right?
Not the one with Beyonce.
That's number 3.
No, the one with Elizabeth Hurley, dude. Not only that. Okay, so we're all like going through puberty at different times and ages, but like when Elizabeth Hurley comes out, and she's like, this spy, not the Heather
Graham.
You got
Heather Graham Spy Who Shagged Me version,
Hurley,
but like when Elizabeth Hurley comes out, so smoking hot. And Mike Myers, he like revolutionized the whole. I can play different characters when he comes out as Dr. Evil and they're doing all this different stuff. I gotta say that one for me was iconic. I had to sneak into the movie theater to see it. I had to lie to my parents that I was going to see like Air Bud so that I could go watch Austin Powers. And it was revolutionary for me. I loved it, dude. It was phenomenal.
when Dr. Evil gives his little speech on Jerry Springer, when he's like talking about like his life and he like breaks down his whole life, that is one of my favorite scenes.
And Scott comes out.
Yeah.
Scott comes out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So good. All right. So my third round's going to be Austin Powers.
That's a nice pick.
All right, thanks.
You've got a nice
that
little lineup here.
might have been my third round pick.
Really?
I would have been that.
Oh.
I was on that. It was between that one and two others, and that probably had the lead.
Ooh.
So it was a little bit of a steal.
Oh.
All right, Zach, what do you got?
So
Thank you, brother. I appreciate
good
that,
pick.
man. I heard you sing earlier. You got tunes.
So is there? I'm gonna
Bring up
go,
something controversial. Let's go. Let's go controversial.
I don't think this is controversial at all, but I'm gonna go Beverly Hills Cop, 1984.
That's
a big pick.
100%
God
great
damn
pick.
it.
Right?
Yeah. That's a good pick. That one also was one that I was thinking about. That probably was a little lower on my list, but that's a good pick.
People don't remember Eddie Murphy
Dude.
was the
it's great,
SNL
dude.
master, dude.
But
He was
Eddie
the Chappelle of
Murphy-
the 80s. Dude.
Eddie Murphy in the red suit on Raw is some of
So
the
that was another conversation earlier with
Oh my
Walter. Walter says, if I was drafting, I could draft Raw, right? And I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
okay, it was a feature film, but it's not really a movie. I said, technically, yes, you could, but from the heart, I don't like that pick because it would be you're picking a comedy.
I want to pick a movie, but I love Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills
I love
Cop's
Eddie
great.
Murphy.
It's a great
pick.
100%.
So wait, is Beverly Hills Cop your pick or no?
Yeah, that's my pick.
Okay.
Little Judge Reinhold, no
Judge
problem
Reinhold.
there.
And it's a great. I mean, it spawns the whole franchise, the whole series is really good.
Right.
It holds up pretty well across the sequels.
I think that was one of those movies where they did R for number one, R for number two, and I think 3 might have been PG-13. I think they might have like toned it down to try to get more audience. But I know they did film at Great America for number 3. That was their
Right.
He's like climbing on the rides, and
I
that
think
was
you're
the
right.
cages that
Yeah,
were at Great America.
Talk about another guy who might be a Scientologist because I don't think he's aged and he's had like 52 kids or whatever number he's had. And he just keeps
looks the
bagging
same.
these beautiful
He
young white
looks
ladies
the
that are
same.
just, oh, dude. And he's not aging at all. I got to give him props. Props to Eddie Murphy.
So I feel like we've gone far enough, and that we've ignored the women of SNL for too long.
So where do you go with it? Because I have my number one, but I don't think it's yours.
I think your number one's very obvious, and you're gonna.
It's Bridesmaids.
Yep. Okay, that's mine too.
Such a
Okay, I didn't think
good
you were going to
flick.
go there.
Yeah. Oh,
High
yeah,
fives,
dude.
man.
So Bridesmaids
Love
it. I love
it's so funny and it's so like uniquely good. It's not just one of the best NSL. I mean, I probably the greatest female lead comedy.
Yeah.
Period. Like if there's another one, I don't know what it is. That's as good. It's just good up and down. It's got great characters. It's got a great lead that's from SNL. I'm all in.
Dude, Melissa McCarthy in that movie is so
hot.
She's
Dude,
so
so funny.
funny,
Oh,
dude.
and so hot.
She's
dude.
talking about taking a shit.
Oh, dude, when they all start taking dumps in the sink
perfect,
at the bridal
Funny as fucking
dress shop,
shit.
it's phenomenal. And then she starts shitting in the gutter. Oh, game over. Let's do it. Let's go,
I love
Melissa.
it, dude.
I love you. But yeah, Kristen Wiig is weird because she's like
She does.
she's like an unassuming cute. She's too funny
She's
to be
super
hot,
cute.
but
I
she's
think
cute.
she's super cute.
Yeah, cute, but not hot. Right? Like it's weird.
I think she jumps back and forth a little bit. I think it depends on her role. Like she puts, it depends on because there's some roles where her energy is a little bit more like sexy, and some where she's like, in this one, I think she's really like cute, but she sacrifices some of that for that raw, like
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
And that has its own sexy to it, but like she really like is a mess in this movie, and that's part of the charm. Mm-hmm. And so like I think part of that like sacrifices the classic like female, sexy lead, but man, she's amazing and
Yeah.
funny and like in her own way, then very sexy.
And Maya Rudolph. Let's not forget Maya.
Oh, she's great.
wonderful.
Up and down the line, good stuff.
And you have 2 picks right now?
I do.
He cannot
so-
decide.
Look at him over there. He's
I'm
pondering.
semi excited, but it's weird because oh man, if I go this direction, it's just 2 very genre movies together, which I don't necessarily want to do. I think I'm gonna have to go one from the heart, one from the brain. So
We have
Perfect.
we're,
Are you
we're
guys
through
ready to
3 rounds or 4?
4. This is my
Well,
last
this
2
is it. This
picks.
is
This
Brad's-
is my
this is
last 2
Brad's
picks.
close,
So,
and then I get
Okay.
to sweep it up.
all right, so I'm gonna go. I haven't taken one of his movies yet, so I think my first pick here is going to be Will Ferrell at his most genuinely family friendly, I'm going to go with Elf.
We going Elf?
I'm going to go with Elf.
Wow, that's a dark horse right there.
I can't believe you just.
It's
That
weird
movie
to bring a
made
Christmas
Will Ferrell.
movie. To bring a Christmas movie into a draft like this. It's weird, but
Well,
it's a movie that stands the test of time. I don't ever watch Elf outside of Christmas season, but I think if I watched it like in March, it would probably still be great.
The problem with Elf is that I really like it, but my kids
Don't
every
dig
time we put it, they don't dig it. They do not get it.
yeah, it's something about the early 2000s. Well, that was Jon Favreau's first breakout directorial
yeah.
debut.
was the
And
big
they
one.
did not want Will Ferrell for that movie. They were like against it. And it took multiple cuts for them to like and screen what do they call this.
God, who
screen
else could
tests?
possibly do
screeners,
it?
yeah.
I know. Nobody
I can't
else
think
could
of
have.
anyone else that could do it
No.
possibly at all.
No. At that time?
But
Kidding me?
one of the greatest parts of it is that he's so big. He's such a big man. He's supposed to be this elf. Oh, it's so.
Well, what did he have under his belt before he did that? A Ninth of Roxbury? I mean, what else did he have under his belt other than SNL and maybe that one flick with Chris Kattan? There's just not a lot of body of work there.
He hadn't done too much starring stuff, and that just put him in the spotlight. And it wasn't him being over like crazy or ridiculous. It was just like, you know what, he's going to play this straight and family friendly, and it works. Mm-hmm. All right, my fourth pick, and this is going to probably show off my. This is going to expose my draft to our judge.
Oh,
But-
don't do it. Don't do it.
No, there's you know what, we were talking about all these big name SNL people, but I'm going to go with the movie that is actually based off an SNL character. This is Will Forte's just genius movie. I'm going with MacGruber.
Jeez,
I
I
knew-
thought
I
that was
love
going to be a
MacGruber.
Zach pick for sure.
It's been well documented that I love MacGruber. That's awesome.
I came into this and I wrote down one movie title with one guy from this podcast on it, and it was Zach and MacGruber. The most obscure dog shit SNL movie that ever existed was
it's
MacGruber.
such a good movie.
I love it
cannot
so much.
disagree more.
There's a series.
You've got
There's a series
multiple-
that's out now. MacGruber the series.
Oh,
It's
God.
fucking
Oh yeah, and
spectacular.
the series is crazy, and there's multiple SNL people. You've got Maya Rudolph, you've got Kristen Wiig, you've got Will Forte, all SNL alum. So I'm putting a 3-piece in there and picking a just great classic
3-piece.
comedy.
Great class.
Putting a
And
3-piece in there.
that's right, 3-piece and a biscuit. There you go.
I like
and the biscuit's
And a
Val
biscuit.
Kilmer.
Oh, that's oh my god. Pre or post talk?
Doc Holliday, son.
All right, so final picks here coming up. Nate,
So your comment makes me think that my next pick was what you were thinking about.
Me too. Maybe.
So
a little Chevy Chase.
I gotta go Christmas Vacation. Like I was. It's one of my personal favorites. It's weird.
So I
because
guess I didn't think. I thought you liked whatever the first Vacation would be
I was-
better.
Vacation.
No,
So
Vacation.
Christmas is the one for you.
So I love the
'Cause it is
original
for me,
Vacation.
too.
I love original Vacation. It's phenomenal. But for me, Christmas Vacation just edges it out.
It has the
It's
right amount
terrific.
of Randy,
Yeah, just enough cousin
Quaid.
Eddie.
Randy Quaid, little cousin
and,
Eddie.
and I think for me, right, like it's ironic because you were making the comment like, well, it's very season specific, and so, but I could probably enjoy it in February. But the truth is, like, Christmas comes every year, man. Like, and I don't ever go a Christmas season without watching that probably 5 times.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the original Vacation in 10 years. Like, I love it.
been a while.
But, like, you know, the thing is that you just return to those movies. And when it's a really good, like, feels like Christmas movie, and it's also just so funny, you can't beat it. It's
true.
I love it.
Mad props.
I like I said, I almost went Christmas. I almost went Elf.
It
and
wouldn't have been a
Christmas
bad
Vacation.
move.
I just felt like that's just a weird way to draft. So
you can't do that.
There's so many great, again, more one-liners in Chevy Chase's. His physical comedy is so underwhelmingly hilarious that, like, for example, that scene when they're in the department store and Russ shows up when he's looking at the
Can't
department
see the
store.
line, can you, Russ?
It's like a log. Not that I have a log. No, it's not that kind of log.
It looks a little nipply out here. I mean, nippy out here. What do you think?
He does that awkward laugh.
Awkward laugh.
Oh my god.
Shitter's full. Yeah, I mean, there are so many great. That's my all-time go-to Christmas movie. Is Christmas Vacation. For sure.
absolutely. All right, Zach, you've got one more here. How are you going to round out your winning team?
I have to do it just because it's one of my favorite comedies of all time, and I'm gonna go The Wedding Singer
He did
with
it.
Adam Sandler.
He took it. It's a great.
I just love it so much.
Great
There's so much about it that I love. I love the like retro, like weird 80s vibe.
It does 80s really well.
Dude,
like
it's
just the right mix of sincere and ironic.
And I'm not the hugest Drew Barrymore fan, but she's great in that. She's great in that.
Well,
for sure.
there's something-
She's great in a couple of things, but she's great in that for sure.
Well, the most undeniable role she's ever played has been with Adam Sandler. Think about it. 51st Dates.
Oh well, see, I
love
love.
51st.
It's a great flick, right?
I'm with you on that, but I can't take away her in the.
They did a recent one,
the
right?
saddest movie that I've ever seen in my life. I've talked to you about it before.
Never Been Kissed.
Chris
Never Been
O'Donnell.
Kissed.
Oh no,
Never Been Kissed is
yeah.
the most brutal, like fucking raw, like emotional movie that I have ever watched, and oh my god, it's fucking.
I love that. That's like your one
problematic.
emotional
dude.
movie with all those
It, like,
crazy movies you've ever
Yeah,
seen
that
in your
movie
life.
gets me.
All these movies that just torture your soul, and you're like, man, the one that really got to me was
when
Never
they
Been Kissed.
when she thinks she's gonna go on the date with the guy that she likes, and she opens the door and the eggs.
Well, they set
just
it up. They
egg her.
set it up really well in that movie. They set
You
it
know,
up so great.
Oh, it's so devastating. It's,
brutal.
like the most devastating shit ever. Anyways,
All right, it's time to finish
Barrymore.
off this draft. You've got
our
the
guest
final
gets
pick.
the first
pick
and the last
16.
pick.
You had the first pick. Now you're down to
you're
your
the last pick of the draft.
This came down to one of the most, in my perception, one of the most undisputed comedians. However, the biggest underdogs in comedy who just recently passed away, Norm Macdonald, did a movie called Dirty Work.
I knew you were gonna say that.
That is phenomenal. Artie Lang, Chris Farley's also in that, the Saigon whore that bit his nose off. I was really tempted to pick that one for this because there's so many terrific scenes in that, but nobody's seen it.
He's
right?
not picking.
I'm not picking
I was
that.
typing that.
I'm not picking that.
I
I'm
was
not
like,
picking
Josh
that.
took his MacGruber. I love it.
I'm not taking Dirty Work, but what I will take is Airheads. When the three boys,
call.
Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and my boy Adam Sandler, overtake the radio station to get their demo tape out to the airwaves and the chaos that ensues. It is a phenomenal.
Squirt guns full of hot sauce.
Squirt guns full of hot sauce. That is one of the best movies, in my opinion, of the 90s, just because of what it stands for. It's rebel, it's relevant, and goddamn, Brendan Fraser in leather pants. Let's get real.
He's a stud in that movie. He's
stud.
legit. He's
He's a
legit
stud.
until they find out that he was like he was like the
Chester,
the chess club member and all this stuff.
when they out him, it's dog shit. And
His girlfriend with the curly 80s hair in the beginning of that movie
stop.
is so hot. I
So
don't know who
smoking.
it is, but she's
so smoking. So I'm going to go Airheads.
he's
Dude.
the
That's,
equivalent.
And you have a great Chris Farley cameo in that, where he's like the
That's right,
the
the
sheriff,
cop,
yeah,
right,
or
the
the
cop.
cop at the
Yes.
at the concert.
also in it, man. I got to tell you that. I mean, we're staying true to theme, but I gotta go.
That's
round
a
it
fun
out.
movie. I love that movie.
It's a great one.
All right, so there's a ton of all-Sarans, but here's what I want to ask: like, what's like right on the what just missed for
Planes,
you guys?
trains, and automobiles.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Oh, that's a
I
good
gotta
one.
tell you, Steve Martin, which I'm not a huge
Okay.
fan of his comedy, but
So Steve Martin coming up, that
He's
would have
the
been an
big
interesting one
omission.
because he has never been an actual cast member. He's hosted 20 times.
okay.
Never
Oh,
an
really?
official cast member. So that would have caught a little. That,
Oh,
I
that
looked
would've-
at some Steve Martin shit, and that would have been interesting because that would have been a discussion.
Okay, glad
Because
we
he's
did.
never actually been a cast member. He was just a host multiple times.
So for me, Coming to America stands out, right? Like that as a movie. That one we did get an Eddie Murphy movie in there, but the two cast members that hurt the most, maybe three that hurt the most that we didn't have were. We don't have a Dan Aykroyd film, although he's not the lead in a lot of stuff.
He's in
Yes, he's in
Ghostbusters,
Ghostbusters.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we don't have Andy
And Tommy
Samberg.
Boy.
We don't have Andy Samberg.
Palm
lead.
Springs was one of my dark horses.
So
Hot Rod.
Palm Springs or Hot Rod.
Hot
yeah.
Rod is a phenomenal.
I know a lot of people
That's
are
one of
big
my
on
Fringe movies.
Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping,
Yeah.
which I haven't seen, but I
Pop Star's fun.
loved
Pop Star's great.
Palm Springs.
and
a
we
lot.
don't have Chris Rock.
I know.
Slap.
Beverly,
But he was like a
Beverly Hills
1 year
Ninja.
SNL. I think he was like on a SNL for like 1 year.
He's a great stand-up comedian who's not a good actor.
Who
That's
we're
the problem.
missing is Billy Crystal.
Yeah,
What? He was an SNL guy?
When Harry Met Sally would have been. Nate, I thought you were going to be bringing that out for sure.
I don't think. I guess I don't associate him with SNL that strongly,
Neither do
and
I.
so for some
That
reason,
was before our time, bro.
That is older.
We're missing one very pivotal Will Ferrell character and that is Old School.
I thought you were going to say Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, but he's
Well,
decidedly-
Talladega Nights is also on here.
He's
but
decidedly not the star in that movie.
He's not the star. That's why I couldn't whip it out. But Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights 100%. I just
That
don't. I
is
think it's fitting that it was left out of this list because you only get 16 picks.
Exactly.
You know, I will say Joe Dirt is actually an underrated, pretty
Joe
funny
Dirt, I
movie.
thought about it.
And I never thought I would say that Kid Rock actually is pretty awesome in that movie as like the guy that just
he's
is like
great
the
in it.
bully
Oh,
to he's always picking on him. Like he's a great role in that.
So there's a couple that I wanted to go with, which was So I Married an Axe Murderer, which is like
Mike Myers
such a
early,
really
yeah.
good one. And then the other one is so you're saying that well, I guess Chase and the other guy are in it. Three Amigos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chase,
yeah,
Steve
yeah.
Martin,
And Martin Short.
Right,
A
exactly.
phenomenal flick. That's also on my list.
What about Horrible Bosses for Sudeikis? Would you have
Sudeikis?
accepted that?
Sudeikis is a dark horse, dude. We're the
well,
Millers.
He's
When
funny
he does
in
that.
Well, and also now that he's Ted Lasso,
Ted Lasso.
right?
Yeah.
Like you feel like you can't take Lasso, but it's such a gold.
So
He's
good.
I mean, it'll go down as one of the best television shows of all time. I think
It will. It's inspired me to grow a Brad mustache.
Oh, me too. Dude.
I need to whip
Brad,
that out.
everyone
And start
needs a
getting
Brad
into
mustache.
soccer or football or wherever you're from. I hear you guys have a big audience in Ohio. Is there
do.
is there a lot of soccer that gets played up there?
I
don't know. I'm not-
think so.
Really?
I have no idea.
I don't know if any of us are soccer fans at all.
I'm a soccer.
Oh
fan.
yeah, you played soccer. You are a soccer dude. My bad.
Soccer dude.
What's soccer?
Blues Brothers. We didn't say Blues Brothers, which
did
John
not.
Belushi. I mean, that's
There's a reason why we didn't say
Animal House and Blues Brothers are both right there. Both movies that I think none of it. Well, no, Nate has seen Animal House, but Blues Brothers I've never seen.
So I would say the one that because we talked a little bit about the lack of female representation, but Sisters is really funny.
What's
And
this?
it has
Who's
two.
Is that Tina Fey? Who's that?
It has Tina Fey and
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler.
Oh, so Amy Poehler.
Yeah, and that's
God damn, she's funny.
Well,
she's
that
really funny.
that brings up one of my favorites.
that
I've
she
got
came
people to
first
see.
or whatever.
They came
Oh my
together,
God, dude.
which is the romantic
together.
comedy
Oh,
spoof, which is just it's so great. Amy Poehler.
It was over
Paul
the top,
Rudd.
and parts of it were so fucking
You
funny.
get a little Bill Hader in there. It's some good stuff.
Inconsistent at best, but when it hit, I was like,
The
this is
funniest
fucking
jokes are
hilarious.
just crazy funny in that movie.
The-
100%.
what
Oh,
is
and
it?
you actually get okay.
What's the joke? That the parents are like white supremacists? Dude, it's so fucking funny.
Well, didn't she do? Was it Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell that did? Was it House Party or something like that?
It's,
Where
Bringing Down the House.
bringing down the house
Yes.
that they
Yeah.
Where they had
So
their
I
own
was
little
like
casino.
amped for that movie,
Right.
And so I was a little underwhelmed.
Yeah, it just didn't work, dude.
Like I thought, I was like, oh, these two and in this movie, I'm just all in.
Right.
And then I don't know if it was expectations or it was really just not that great, but man, I was psyched when it was first coming.
Well,
So-
Kenan Thompson had a cameo, and they came together. And we also didn't mention Good Burger.
Good Burger.
I don't know if I mean, I never saw Good Burger. I wasn't a Kenan and Kel guy, so but I mean that's something that it was a movie.
I did notice that we did do a lot of white males on our
That's true.
movie list.
I mean, we our
Well,
representation was limited to I think one black person and one woman.
Well, but you know what? I mean, partly, right? Like you look at that what comes out of SNL. SNL for a long time didn't have tons of diversity, right? They did have a lot of very funny women, and those women didn't go on to have leads in very many movies until what's the
I think
first?
that's changed now.
Conan.
It has.
With-
No, they had
Fay.
the one where she put her hands in her armpits.
Yes, I was so
Oh, yeah,
Superstar.
Superstar.
Was, I
Superstar
think
was
the
that-
first is
Molly
that the
Shannon.
first one that would be what you
and I
would
think
say
it
is a lead?
flopped pretty well. So I think maybe that
It was okay, but I'm just saying though, like, but that's a bad like. I mean, because if you look back, right, wasn't Gilda Radner SNL?
Mm-hmm.
She was hilarious, right? Like, there's some incredibly talented, funny women, pretty much throughout, and they just don't get the launch from SNL the way the male characters do. And I mean, that's that's Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a long period of time where it's only now starting where there's like more female lead movies of all genres, and that's certainly true of the SNL crowd. And I mean, there's exceptions for I mean, certainly there's a few notable black stars that come out of it. Eddie Murphy, like the earliest and most notable,
Right.
and then, but I mean, how many how many other
I mean, Chris
non-white
Rock, Shea hasn't really. I mean, Michael Shea, I think he's really funny. He hasn't really done.
He might
much.
venture off into some of his own things afterwards, but I mean,
I disagree, dude. That guy did not make me laugh at all.
Really? Oh,
No.
I think he's pretty funny.
But I'm just saying it's an interesting, like, if you look at
does he do actually some of the sketches too, or does he just only do like the news?
Weekend Update, I think.
I guess I read his Twitter and I think he's funny on Twitter.
but
I don't really watch SNL.
we talked a fair amount on interestingly, we talked a fair amount on the last pod about Jim Carrey, who comes out of In Living Color.
Right.
Well, In Living Color's where, like, I mean, it's the sort of competitor in some ways to Saturday Night Live, right? The sketch show.
David
Except it was like
Allen Greer, Damon Wayans.
5 years or something, right? Like In Living Color was a really short-lived
kills,
show.
right?
I mean,
Like,
Jamie Foxx,
kill.
Damon Wayans,
In-
David Allen Greer,
Tommy Davidson.
Tommy Davidson.
I'm
all
just
got their
saying,
career
why did
after
it
that.
go away?
I don't know.
Well, actually, which is
All
funny
those
though, is
guys
that
got too
none of the
big.
women
the 90s.
went anywhere.
Right,
And
Pam-
some of the women
sure.
were all really funny.
So Pam Grier goes on. I mean, she's in.
Pam Grier, no.
Foxy Brown.
It's Pam Grier was you're thinking of from the 70s, like blaxploitation stuff.
Oh yeah. It's
There was a Pam. Was it just Pam Wayans? She was one of the sisters.
maybe. Yeah, I'm forgetting now. I'm
I
mixing
mean,
up who it was.
the
But there-
most famous was J-Lo, who came out of the Fly Girls.
Fly Girls, yeah. But I mean, but in terms of like you get like for exactly like you're saying, like 5 years, and you just put out a grip of like really, really funny talent, not just funny, but like funny crossover talented black actors. Like Jamie Foxx is fucking Homie the Clown, right? Like
No, Damon Wayans is only the clown.
Slayer.
wasn't Jamie Foxx?
No,
that's
Damon
Damon
Wayans.
Wayans.
Was
What
only
was
the clown.
Jamie Foxx's main?
Jamie Foxx had he had the boxer, and then he also had the what's her name? Wanda? No, it wasn't Wanda. It was it's like the ugly girl. She was like super ugly, and she was like, "I was gonna rock his world."
That's what it was. Yeah. So there's a bunch
Before
of
my
really good
time,
great
I'm the
skits.
younger
That was like Fox 91, 92, 93. The one other and this would have been kind of I wouldn't say it would be cheating because this guy was an SNL cast member, but Christopher Guest was an SNL cast member, so going Spinal Tap would have been appropriate, but
But he wasn't an SNL cast member for like a long time after Spinal Tap, right?
no, I think it was before,
Was he?
and then or maybe I don't know.
No,
I don't know the timing
maybe
of
it's
that.
Michael McKean. Is he ever SNL?
I don't know if McKean was or not, but I think he might have been.
Okay. So
Anyway,
and
that would have been a choice.
An honorable mention, though, Ben Stiller, who you also mentioned was only on for several episodes.
Like 4 episodes, he
Yeah.
was a cast member. Yeah.
Another Slayer.
He could have. I mean, there's a lot of movies that opens up to, but I think in the spirit of like cast member, it's got to be someone who's kind of more well known for SNL. So
It was a big category. It was a big. It was a big.
It was a
push.
large
It was a
category,
large
for
pool. So my
where,
apologies.
Where is Scott, by the way?
So you know what we've been with our big budget that we've had lately. We've been had a lot of cash to throw around, so we've been hiring a lot of people. We hired volleyball players for the Top Gun pod, and you know what? For this one, we hired an improv troupe. And so he's just doing improv out there in the patio out there, and they're just picking words out of hats, and they have to just improv. And I don't know how well he is doing at the improv, but he's out there.
He's probably killing it.
How come all the scenes that he's in, he's wearing some Speedos? Why is that?
When I walked out to earlier to take a piss, all the cast members were actually pissing on him.
Really?
Oh,
But they were
shit.
doing it for real. I thought they were just supposed
And he
to
was swimming in
improv it.
his Speedo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know what we'll have to ask him what paper he drew for that one.
That's
That's an
weird.
interesting little skit going on. We'll have to ask him about that. But yeah,
Like,
so he's out there doing
it
improv.
Sounds like
that
a
like-
deleted scene from Eyes Wide Shut.
I think they called it. I think it was the Golden Shower 50-yard breaststroke.
I mean, it's too bad
wow.
Dirk Diggler and the Boogie Nights weren't a part of this. I feel like we could go balls deep in that.
All right. Well, I'll see if I can slip into a sketch out there and pull him in.
All right,
All righty.
let's go see if we can get him.
California has the largest population in the United States and the site of some of the most famous true crime cases in history. But there's more than meets the eye to the crime in California. Join Sean, Jessica, and Charles on the California True Crime Podcast as they cover crime both infamous and overlooked from around our state, while looking at the deeper history that goes beyond beaches and movie stars.
right, Scotch. We got Scotch back in here. Did you shower? What happened?
Maybe golden showered.
What's that smell?
It's piss, bro.
So I thought when they do sketches, I thought it was all kind of a mime thing, but it felt like there was some very real piss out
It's kind
there.
of hard to mime piss. I mean, I don't know how you improv pissing.
I thought
on
we
somebody.
hired the top notch like comedy improv troupe, but maybe they were just a few guys off the street.
Well, you hired a method improv group, and when you hire method improv, you got to throw on a fucking Speedo, which they threw me in a Speedo, and then I'm pretending like I'm swimming or some bullshit, and they're pissing on me to make the golden lake of.
You won the gold medal for golden showers.
To make the golden lake.
Well, they either describe themselves as method actors or meth actors. I wasn't sure what they said.
Well, his name was not Daniel Day-Lewis. It was Daniel. No, I got no.
Spray
Lewis. I like where you went with that.
Yeah.
I was trying hard.
Teamwork. That's fucking
I got
teamwork.
nothing. Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you back.
Yeah,
and,
welcome to my home. I have you guys to my home.
we're in the Bosco
We're in the
Cantina.
Bosco's Cantina and showroom. Yeah, I didn't even know if I said that right.
And showroom.
And showroom. Look, there's a sign.
There's a sign that actually says
Bosco
showroom.
Jenkins Cantina and Showroom right over there, right above the window.
love it.
Right there.
Oh yeah, there it is, right up there.
And then you guys send me out to get pissed on.
In fairness, we didn't know that they were all going to piss on you. We knew that might one or two of them, but we didn't.
I just couldn't imagine how it could go bad when Brad was like, "Hey, I just got back from Stockton and I found some method actors."
Method
"This is
actors.
perfect."
I said method
actors.
actors.
Method actors.
Oh, method actors. Jesus, I misunderstood.
In these guys' defense, they didn't know them was going to piss all over you.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was weird.
All right.
Who knew those were going to piss on you?
Yeah.
So,
All right, so we are drafting. Well, we drafted actually. There's a
I
draft
think it was a
result,
draft.
and now all it is all that's left is the crying. Is that what the phrase would be?
All that's left, except for the golden shower, is what they say.
Is the tears of joy and the tears of defeat. So, Scotch,
Yeah, buddy.
we watched Tommy Boy. We talked about it a little bit with you.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first thoughts when you looked at this draft? Did you think this draft category was gonna be a tough one?
I thought it was going to be actually one of the deepest drafts yet, and it was.
There's a lot.
Yeah, because it was funny because when you first told me about the category, I thought, oh, okay, yeah, there'll be a few movies, whatever. And then, I was actually talking to my brother about it, and we start listing movies, and we're like, wait a minute, it's not just Saturday Night Live movie, like based off those characters. It's any actor from Saturday Night Live.
yeah.
Holy shit, it gets crazy because you start
Thick,
thinking way
yeah.
back to some of the early casts too, and just and it seems like every couple days, like my brother and I would say,
Oh,
what about this one?
Yeah.
What about this one? What about this one? I didn't look up a single list because I didn't need to. And what I realized was Saturday Night Live, those actors created some of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
If I think about all the comedies that I love, they're all in there. And it's pretty interesting. I never really thought about it before. Some of my favorite movies are by these amazing actors. And because our wheelhouse, well, when I watched Saturday Night Live, was Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, like that was when I was watching it a lot.
Dana
and so,
Carvey.
I hit a nerve.
I kind of forgot about Dana Carvey, man. He was so fucking
Well, the
funny.
thing about Dana Carvey is, though,
He was never the star.
other
right?
than Wayne's World,
Yeah.
I mean, he really didn't have any great movies.
He had some
but his
movies.
Saturday Night Live sketches were just.
He-
I mean,
yeah.
like when he did all the different presidents
Oh, yeah.
of that era, like the Bushes and
Dude, and his
And
like
some of his
church,
stand-up is-
Church Lady was
Yeah.
one of,
Church Lady.
one of the biggest
Church Lady.
things ever, and so many other comedians like speak.
We
so highly
we
of
can't
him.
forget Garth. I mean, Wayne's World.
Oh, yeah.
He's
that's
amazing.
an amazing character.
But that is.
But on
he's
his
also,
own, on his own, he doesn't do well.
All his movies are pretty much shit, and it's really strange because he's such a talent. He's such a good impressionist.
Has anybody seen the show with him on TV? Dana Carvey and Steve Martin and Selena Gomez.
No.
Oh yeah, my wife watched it. Murder in the Building.
Yes.
She said it was great.
It's
I
really
liked it.
good?
I didn't
Okay.
watch any of
I
it.
was-
but
I
she said
was-
it
Harvey's
good.
not in that, right? No, it's Steve Martin, Martin Short.
Oh,
Oh,
Martin
Steve
Short.
Martin, Martin
Yeah.
Short, Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Martin Short and Dana Carvey are like the same size
That's
and
pretty
kind of
much
the
the
same
same.
dude.
Wow.
Like,
But they're kind of like the same. Martin Short.
They're probably both Canadian or something. You know, whatever.
Listen, when your name is
Although
Martin,
unrelated, my wife liked that show. She thought it was good.
when
I
your
thought-
name is Martin Short and your marquee film is Clifford, that's probably not going to go very well with
Which one did the like movie critic guy that has three sons named Matthew Modine and Moxley? Who's that guy?
movie critic?
You know what his name is?
John
What's his
Lovitz?
name? No, it's
There was the critic.
he's wearing a fat suit and he's it's
That's
I'm
probably
pretty sure it's Dana Carvey.
Yeah, I'd say that's Dana Carvey.
Oh, dude, and what's his Jiminy Glick? You know Jiminy
Oh,
Glick?
Jiminy Glick. That's
Martin
see,
Short.
that's another. No, is that Martin Short?
Is that Martin Short?
Dana Carvey?
Jiminy Glick is Martin Short.
It's not Dana Carvey.
That's terrible.
Basically, yeah.
We're good at
See,
this.
they're the same.
Jesus.
We're really good at this.
Okay,
Oh wow. Okay.
derail.
You got a lot of editing
And you were
to do, buddy.
thinking, Scotch. What were you thinking?
Well, what I was thinking was, I was really curious to see which eras you guys were going to go with, because you guys are all younger than me. And I was actually very pleasantly surprised with how this draft went. And honestly, I knew it was going to be tough. And it was also kind of weird because I almost felt like, you ever remember when you had like a test or something and you go into and you get your paper in front of you, and all of a sudden you realize maybe I didn't study quite enough. I almost felt like maybe I didn't quite prepare enough for this draft, because I thought, it's going to be fucking easy. I've seen all these movies. So I had that little flash of panic when I got the results. When you sent them to me, I was like, oh shit. Well, even though, mostly because of the ones that you guys didn't pick, because it's such a huge list. So what I ended up doing was pretty much just, again, all your picks were really good. There's nothing I can really shit on. So I had to figure out some other ways to maybe add some points here and there to figure out a winner. And then at the very end, I just kind of looked and just kind of said, okay, that's my team. And it agreed with my point system. And the only thing that really made it change was, so there's a couple reaches or steals where if I thought you might have picked it a little early or whatever, there's a little bit there, but it was all pretty much the same. The one thing I did was I added 0.25 points for every SNL cast member in that movie.
That's a solid.
Genius.
I like that move.
I wanted to give just a little something
Yep.
that was kind of out of my hands to maybe bump up a couple picks, and maybe you'll get lucky. You have maybe 3 cast members or whatever. And I think 3 was the most that I found. And, I did a quick little IMDb search on each movie and just make sure I didn't miss any. And then, so that was kind of the deciding factor on some of the points here. So, God dang, it was really, really fucking close.
Do you want to mention before you unleash the big news? Do you want to give us a little bit of what were some of your top movies that were not listed here?
Okay, here's a list of what you guys didn't pick. And again, generational, I'm a little older. I was actually surprised that this one wasn't picked. We're the Millers.
We talked
Jason
about it.
Sudeikis.
Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if a lot of people really think of him as an SNL guy. I think of more of a movie guy. And I had to Google it to make sure he was on SNL.
I thought hard about Horrible Bosses because of him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many leads in that, but
Yeah. I think personally, I think The Millers is a better movie than that one, but both good. But from ones that I thought were big oversights was Trading Places.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd
and Eddie Murphy.
in their finest.
Yeah.
That would have got you an extra.
And
couple
Jamie Lee Curtis nude.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That helps.
really pertain
I've
to this
heard
draft,
she's-
but I'm always give that bonus points. Always give that bonus points.
That was an extra 0.69.
This one I was not surprised that wasn't picked because we've talked about it many, many, many drafts. Blues Brothers.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're alone on an island
Right.
there, buddy.
The OG Vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Original.
so there was a lot of discussion about whether that was the correct pick versus the Christmas
Right.
Vacation. And funny enough, I think it was generally agreed in a rare form here that everyone
I
was
think
on
so.
board with Christmas Vacation.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, over the original, although there's a lot of love for that one.
We'll get into that later. So I Married an Axe Murderer
That was mentioned by Zach.
That was
Yep.
my also ran
For
for
sure.
sure.
and Three Amigos.
Those were my
That-
two also
That
rans.
came up.
Yeah.
Damn.
Another one.
So again, it's one of those things where, know your judge, and maybe that might have helped you out a little bit. But,
I love that
you
we've
guys
moved
did
into a
fine.
world where Scott is just urging everyone to pander.
You got fourth,
It used
but
to
you
be that
could have had third.
People criticize, and now Scott's like, "Are you guys going to pander at all? Do you not like me, or do you not care about that I'm your judge?"
Immediately at a disadvantage.
All right, I can't stand the fucking.
Okay. So
Zach is literally
happening. I'm ready.
Zach's starting
All
to
right,
do
as
yoga
we
over there.
normally do this, Scotch will start at the bottom, and then he'll go to the top. So with the first
Give us the point spread
give
though
it
first.
the score,
point spread, and then I will read the fourth place team once it's announced,
Okay.
and then we will talk about it.
The scores went like this from bottom to top: 24.75,
I love the decimals.
There's Nate's team.
25.75,
It's Josh's team
27.25,
and Brad's team.
28.
Okay, that's a very close.
that is
That
tight.
is tight.
Tight.
It's
Very tight.
very, very tight. And what I will say is I have no issues with any of the first 2 rounds. Those first 8 picks were solid as fuck and
Bangers.
Yeah. I mean, you guys did great on that. Even going into the 3rd round, I like those picks a lot, but then it kind of started. There's a couple movies that I'm
Kind of falls apart
a
somewhere
little
there.
bit. And so, yeah, then I got started getting a little nitpicky. So 4th place, 24.75 points, team 4.
Oh,
Team 4
Shit.
was Groundhog Day, Tommy Boy, Elf, and McGruber.
whose team is that, Brad?
I'm looking around. I can't see the person that drafted, so I don't know who drafted that.
It's
Actually.
hard to
I
say.
cannot see them.
Tough to figure out.
So
It was McGruber
I guess
that
they're not
killed
here.
you.
They must have left. They must
McGruber
have
was
left.
dog shit.
No, because Scott loves McGruber.
Oh, does he?
So
I love it. So
I know.
that was a heart for me.
I'm a fan of McGruber. I don't like McGruber over a lot of the ones I enlisted. I just think you missed a lot. There's so many on the board that you could have picked. And it wasn't the strongest one in that last round.
You know what? I went down. That car's going off the cliff. I had both fingers in the air as I picked McGruber.
Doyle's going down.
I do not get
Doyle's going down.
You know,
Get the fucking banana sleep.
Yeah, I don't think that there wasn't a pick there that was going to save that list, so you might as well go with your heart.
what honestly did kill you though was Elf.
Yeah.
I'm not an Elf fan.
I know. And
Yeah.
you know what?
You need
I
to-
say fuck
yeah.
you to that.
Well,
And to that, I say fuck you.
and I take your fuck you and I say thank you and
you say fourth
I
place.
say go fuck
Fourth
yourself.
I take your fuck you, and I say fourth place.
And I say there's a lot of opinions coming from 4th place right now.
Well, there's no grenadine on the table, so
Unfortunately,
I
I
can
didn't
talk
bring
all
you
the
the
shit I want.
grenadine,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
As a guest on that, I'll take it as an honor that I'm not last place.
Hey,
Yeah.
there you go. You're not last so
I'll
far.
take it. I'll take a fist bump.
It's all
If
gravy from here.
history tells us anything, you're probably gonna win.
I don't know about
Most first-time drafters fucking win. It's bullshit.
Who would that be?
Yeah, I don't know, Scott.
No one knows.
Yeah, that's why you don't get to draft anymore.
That's right. I've noticed.
Back to your role as judge.
All right. So second to last place.
Wait, I just say Groundhog Day. Is that a top rounder?
100% love Groundhog Day. I've watched it.
And what about putting the
Dozens
shirt
of
on
times.
with the 5th pick?
I love that pick as well. I mean, and the second round was literally the only thing that differentiated them to me was how many cast members.
How many stars? Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Hey,
all the same.
McGruber had 3.
Dude, and McGruber that helped you.
It helped you.
Yeah.
Helped you right into
I
fourth
just need
place.
a little bit so I don't crash into almond tree on the way out of here. I just need a little bit of feel good. So okay, there we go. Let's move on to the 3rd place team. Who's 3rd place here?
Third place, 25.75 points.
1 point ahead of me.
Yeah. Team 1.
Team 1 includes Step Brothers, Animal House, Austin Powers Man of Mystery, and Airheads.
Oh, I think,
Okay, so there's two problems here.
The third,
Two problems
third
with your
and
team.
fourth rounds.
Tell me.
The 4th round pick, Adam Sandler is not the star of Airheads, and I think
No,
that hurts.
he's a co-star. I give him co-star status.
He co-starred,
Yeah.
but I'm saying I think Scott gave you maybe a little less points for that, right? Because I know Scott. Because
Did you give him the second point for Michael McKean being a SNL?
He got 0.75
Okay.
points for cast bonus.
All right.
Because
Nice.
Chris Farley's in it.
Yep.
And
Oh, it should be 3.
so it's 3. He got 0.75.
Oh wow, that's
Yes.
a big bonus.
I'll take
actually,
that.
maybe
You know,
that didn't
third
hurt
place
you.
is a bronze medal. So.
But so I didn't give you quite as much of an oh yeah factor on that one, just because it's
There goes Zach touching the board, getting all crazy.
Sorry, guys.
I just don't think it stacks up. I love the movie. I'm a musician and I'm a fan of it, but does it stack up compared to Wedding Singer, Christmas Vacation? I mean, I don't know. It just, to me, it doesn't stand up.
Austin Powers 1, 2, or 3. What's your favorite? I'm a fan of 2.
I mean, 1 and 2 are great. The first one it will always be special to me because it was just the first one. But I can listen to any argument on both of those. But
Good.
I think Austin Powers was a great pick in round 3 as well. It's fucking close. Animal House is a classic film, and it's nice.
He
to
likes
see.
Animal
And
House.
you've seen Animal House because a lot of these guys hadn't seen it.
That blows my fucking mind.
I know, it blows my mind.
That's why
it blew my mind.
And-
I'm the youngest pup here, and they still haven't seen it. There's
Scotch-
a great jerk off scene in that movie that I'm surprised nobody here has seen.
Better than Fast Times at Ridgemont?
Well, that's different because he's literally fascinating about a girl coming out of a pool. In Animal House, he's literally getting HJ on like Romance Hill. So it's different. And she's going full sterilization glove, the whole deal. She's just really giving it strong. But it was different. It was raw.
Yeah.
Scotch, I got to say, you're not the biggest Step Brothers fan, are you?
I love Step Brothers. I really
Okay.
do.
See, I thought he was a huge Step Brothers fan. Man.
I love Step Brothers. I didn't like Step Brothers the very first time I watched it.
I felt the same way.
because I think it got overhyped.
Yes.
Then grew on you.
And what I really hated the first time was the sleepwalking scene. I thought it was really stupid. And I think the first time I watched it, I turned it off at that scene because it was so dumb. But then I finally watched the end of the movie and the whole Catalina wine mixer and all that shit.
Fucking
And I was like,
Catalina
okay,
wine
I can
mixer.
deal with some sleepwalking. I can suspend disbelief for a little bit. And then I learned to really love it. So
All right. Well, folks, we are down to the wire, so we've got a little tension here. So you know when there's tension,
There it is.
Oh shit! There's my boy Ari.
you got to bring in a little of the Hereditary. The vibes are going. Who's going to get?
Zach right now is like really like
He's
vibing
jamming.
right now.
He's ready.
Is it Zach
Is it me or is it Nate?
or is it Nate? Who's it
Oh
going to
my
be, folks?
god! Let's go, Nate. Let's go.
and remember the scores are 28 to 27.25.
Oh,
So
my
0.75.
so
my
close.
goodness.
It's so
Less
close.
than a point.
He's going with Christmas Vacation. I can tell you right
Is
now.
Nate gonna give me a ride home if I win?
nope.
Don't worry, an Uber is like $29 a mile.
Yes,
so
They'll be here in 5 hours.
Yeah.
What I'm just going to say right now is I'm super happy with my choice here. I know the last time I judged, at least, I know time's a flat circle here on Bevs.
Yes.
I caught some grief on Top Gun, and
Might have, yeah.
and I actually really enjoyed that, and I appreciate some of the feedback I got on Facebook. We got into a couple little discussions on that, and it's nice to actually have some conversation. And that's
Sure is.
so
You see, Josh, Facebook is a
I wanna
thing
hear
where
it.
old people get online and talk to each other. Just wanted to fill you in.
I got a lot of
will say-
memories on there. Don't worry.
I will say, Scotch, and this might say something about your judging abilities, considering I got fourth today, but a lot of people agreed with Nate. A lot of people said that Nate was the number one pick.
There was some Nate got robbed hashtagging going on.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
I did see that.
And what I will say is I'm 2-0 in Bev's drafts. So maybe I know something about drafting.
All right, so there's a 0.75 deficit
Yes.
or difference between the teams, and the
Second
so just
place.
say no. Say the winner. Say the winner first.
We always
Right?
do second place.
We
We
always
always
do
do
second
second
I think
place
that's
first.
that's anticlimactic. I think you should do the winner so that person can celebrate, and then we'll talk about the fucking shitty
But then
second
we'll-
And
place
it will
person.
shit on everybody in
We'll
second
forget
place.
about
Yeah.
going back to second place and reading your team, though.
It's fine.
In second place,
You got second place.
In second place.
Team 3.
Team 3 included Anchorman, Happy Gilmore, Bridesmaids, and Christmas Vacation.
Wow.
If I'd gone with the original Vacation, I'd have won.
Dude, nice.
100%.
Going, brother.
Ah, damn it, dude.
Zach's got
What's
his own
up?
That's the Zach. That's the Zach bump. Look at that. I love it. He's got his own theme song.
I got buttons over here.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, again, God dang it. This was a really, really tough call. Love Anchorman. Love Happy Gilmore. Bridesmaids, I honestly haven't seen all the way through. I've seen a lot of it,
forgot.
and I know it's just.
He's actually said that on our pod.
I know he
but I did give that equal points to Beverly Hills Cop in that round. I did give it the credit it deserves, because I know how great that movie is. And just watching the John Hamm scenes when I was doing YouTube stuff, or before. I mean, that movie's. I need to watch it. I know, so that didn't hurt you at all. But Christmas, you picked the wrong vacation in my brain, and I
actually agree with
remember,
Nate on this one.
I'm old as fuck, and so
I love the original. I can see the argument. I think my argument when we talked about it was that the original Vacation is truly great and truly classic, but because Christmas Vacation is like not only a really funny, great movie, but it's a staple because you watch it every year. For me, it's become like the kind of this like truly ingrained. But
wholehearted.
I would I would have said. I mean, the original Vacation is gold, and it's the first one, so I can see the argument.
And I fucking love Christmas Vacation too. I really do. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's a hell of a lot better than fucking Elf. I mean, you know what I mean? So, but again, the thing is, so Team 2.
Well, let's talk about Team 2. The oldest team. Like, I'm not insinuating, but he chose the one with the oldest movies.
And I went Wayne's World with the number one pick, which is an actual SNL skit.
Ghostbusters, Beverly Hills Cop, and The Wedding Singer. All 95 and before.
Yeah. And I mean, that was a smart strategy. I think for the first time.
Because Scott's old as
First time,
balls.
I think Zach didn't pick with his heart. I think he actually used some strategy.
First, guys, I just want to thank God.
Who's your second?
I want to thank all my babies' mamas. Mamas.
Maybe think Lauren Michaels.
Mamas.
I want to thank Lauren Michaels.
I want to thank Lauren Michaels.
Wayne's World was one of the funnest experiences I've ever had in a theater.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
amazing.
absolutely just so fun, and the experience.
So unexpectedly fun.
Oh my gosh, amazing! Yeah, because again, Saturday Night Live movies are usually shit.
So I think
exactly.
the reason that Wayne's World is such a great pick is it's the only movie that has the true intersection, right? Like it's a great movie, and it's like it holds up, and it's classic, and the music's amazing, and it is directly from a sketch in Saturday Night Live. So it's like you get that. I don't know. There's not anything else that's close in that way.
100%. Totally agree.
Yeah.
MacGruber, besides MacGruber.
MacGruber, Superstar is also one that, the Night at the Roxbury, like it's mostly dog shit.
Nothing funnier than smelling your armpits.
Well, that's fair.
Ghostbusters, another very important movie from my childhood. I mean, that was just everything. Ghostbusters, the whole phenomenon around that movie, how everybody was about that film, the music and all that shit.
I think I literally said like the cultural phenomenon that was Ghostbusters. And what's funny is that my kids are freaking 12 and 10, and they love fucking the original Ghostbusters.
I just saw a YouTube clip recently that was talking about songs that sound the same, and I didn't realize that the whole Ghostbusters theme and I Want a New Drug from Huey Lewis and the News, when you hear them kind of side by side, they sound very similar.
Yeah, it's that trumpet.
Dang, yeah, ding, 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 ding.
The whole riff, it's straight. And I believe he lost the lawsuit on that, right?
Did Ray Parker Jr. lost?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He sued?
No, Huey Lewis sued him.
sued.
Oh, Huey. Oh, I didn't know which one came first. I just saw that there was controversy.
One Drug was first.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not surprised then that Ray Parker Jr. lost.
Yeah. But anyway, still, there's a buddy of mine does a great show. His name's Christian James Hand. He's on Instagram, and what he does is he takes songs,
breaks down the beats,
breaks it down by instrument by instrument, and so he did Ghostbusters, and you think, cheeseball song, whatever. He isolates Ray Parker Jr.'s voice, and it is unbelievable. It's so good because he's so passionate and whatever, and singing about the Ghostbusters, and it's really, really great stuff. So
I mean, anytime you're talking about bustin' makes me feel good, I mean, I'm going to be very excited about that too.
Yeah, that's the best
bustin'
line.
makes me feel good. I'm like, yeah, dude, I feel you. I hear you. Speaking directly to me.
Yeah. Beverly Hills Cop, amazing pick. I mean, that was one of the greatest movies of that era and changed action comedy films for everybody. So, and then of all the Eddie Murphy picks,
Banana
that's the number
tailpipe.
one.
Scotch, what would you have done if like somebody had thrown out one of the sequels to one of those good movies?
Like Beverly Hills Cop 2?
Yeah.
I mean, Beverly Hills Cop 2 was a good sequel.
It was a good
It's a good
sequel.
sequel. Ghostbusters 2 is it's okay.
Ghostbusters 2 would not be the right choice. No.
I liked the second Austin Powers.
Yeah, I was going to say
second
the second
Austin
Austin Powers, maybe the second Beverly Hills Cop.
I would give same points for Austin 2
Okay.
and Beverly Hills Cop 2, but not Ghostbusters 2.
Anchorman 2 would have gotten drafted, and maybe if we went 15 rounds, 30 rounds, maybe.
30 rounds.
Maybe.
So
Easily.
again,
Easily 20.
I forgot.
most
I forgot to
forgettable movie
prepare.
ever.
I forgot to write down my list before I did this whole thing, and one just popped in my head that was a major oversight. My brother's probably calling me an idiot for not saying it earlier. Was Caddyshack?
No, we decided
we
it doesn't
debated
count.
Caddyshack.
Didn't count?
There
Not
was a
the star.
debate.
I
How does
wanted
that
to
not
go.
count?
I wanted to go for it but
Because he's not the star. Look at the poster. He's like the sixth guy on the poster.
I would have accepted it that Chevy Chase is the star, that he's a star of the movie.
Yeah.
I would have
We said
accepted that.
Noonan. What's the
I don't
star?
accept it.
Noonan. Noonan.
Well,
Rodney Dangerfield's the star.
Noonan.
I never even heard the
it was
rule
an
that had to be
honorable
the star.
mention. It was an honorable.
It was on my list, and
the
Josh
groundskeeper
talked
is, like,
about
not
picking
even
it, and if he
involved.
would have picked it, would 100%, I would have accepted it.
Anyway, but I was going to say,
And I think I would have carried some weight, you know.
it's just a good thing nobody picked. Good thing nobody picked Caddyshack 2, because Caddyshack 2
Caddyshack 2
wouldn't have been a good choice.
No.
That's like a dog turd in the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Wedding Singer was.
We would have been like, what did fourth
love-
place think? How much weight does fourth place carry?
Like I said, the grenadine's missing, so I can talk all the shit I want.
So anyway, the thing that won it was Wedding Singer in the last round. I love that film. It's
Me
just, it's got
too.
It's just a great story. You love the characters. And the music's amazing.
The music's
in it.
amazing.
And
There's a DeLorean.
it just definitely stands out in that fourth round. It's the best pick in the fourth round.
Does Billy Madison score above Wedding Singer, or,
No.
or Wedding Singer above Billy Madison?
Well, honestly, it would beat it because for personal reasons, like that movie is very important to me.
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison, and as much as it doesn't really.
Do you think
work
Billy
today-
Madison or Happy Gilmore is the top Adam Sandler pick? Because
Again-
I think Happy Gilmore was correct.
Yeah, happy for sure.
Happy
But
Gilmore
for me, it's Wedding Singer.
Happy Gilmore is the people's correct choice.
Right.
Like I think in the broad scheme of things, but for me personally,
Billy Madison.
so I was in college when I first saw Billy Madison, and I was super sick. I was feeling really shitty, and for some reason I hadn't seen it, and I went and rented that movie. I was in college down at Fresno, and a bunch of my fraternity brothers came into my room. We watched that movie, and we laughed our asses off.
And it
It's
loosened
exactly
up
what I
the
needed.
loosened up the phlegm.
And
And you were like, I can breathe
it
again.
made me feel better.
It cured him. So
It fucking
it cured
me.
him.
It cured me.
He
was
actually
like
had
that
COVID.
movie-
That was going to be the COVID outbreak,
Yeah.
but we avoided it because of Billy Madison.
I stopped the COVID outbreak of 1995.
It's like that movie where Robin Williams makes the kids feel better by laughing.
That's actually a random story. That's a random story because-
Patch Adams, yeah.
Josh and I, we were on our way over. We were talking just
Madison.
about random shit, and we were just thinking like, if COVID would have hit in '95 before like teachers had the technology, like what would have happened? Like how would that should have been dealt with for like school, and would have we just powered through? Or
Kids,
They would have been
kids
like-
would have stayed home for a couple of years and actually like developed in important and normal ways.
they would have just been playing outside and just doing shit? Yeah.
Instead of like being
On Zoom and
bored
shit.
internet drones.
You'd be like, remember when we got to stay home and play fucking baseball
Play
every day
more
and just
creative
fucking
and
run
stuff,
around?
and we, like,
that was
you know.
awesome. Or remember when we got to stay home and we were on our computers the whole fucking time?
Yeah, it was.
The
it
teachers
was
couldn't
awesome.
see us because our cameras were off.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I just realized that I missed another movie that wasn't picked that might be overlooked. Spinal Tap.
That was mentioned.
It was talked about.
Michael McKean.
Michael McKean and Christopher Guest,
Christopher Guest were
both
both-
former
yeah.
SNL alum.
So anyway, sorry, I just saw that, and
I feel like
And
that's,
Short Circuit too.
I feel like that's obscure.
Short
Yeah, short circuit too.
Holy
For sure.
shit. Let's go skewer. The funny thing is, like, you were mentioning Billy Madison, how it made you feel.
right.
My older brother. So my older brother and I are pretty close in age. My younger brother's a couple of years beyond us. And this is, so you mentioned you were in college. I was a pup, just a little pup. And
Rub it in.
my dad took us for my brother's, I want to say his 11th or 12th birthday, to go see Billy Madison in the theater.
Oh wow.
And I was the younger brother tagging along with all his big brother friends, you know. And my dad, what you guys got to realize that my dad and like his background is very conservative. And so when we were getting in that whole like comedy troupe and everything that they were putting out, we knew that it was a little brash.
Could
I
be
guess.
risque.
Yeah, it could be a little risque, to say the least. And we had just come off of seeing like the original Flintstones with John Goodman and Rick Moranis. And so he took my brother and his friends and me, the tag along, to go see Billy Mass in the theater. And I remember laughing hysterically. I think it was 9 or 10. I don't know, somewhere around there.
It starts off hard with Nudie Magazine.
It's like,
Nudie Magazine.
it's like an uncontrollable laughter when you're that age.
Dude, at that age, when he's putting the happy face with the sunscreen on his belly, and he's going to find like Grandma Beaver mags and in the
she-mail
the she-mail magazines. He's like, "What's the goods for the day?" And he goes up there, and my dad's just
I gotta feel like he was uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable at the age of 9. I'm looking at my dad and I'm looking at the screen. I'm like laughing uncontrollably because I kind of understand a little bit of the nuance, but I'm looking at my dad and he's just like, Jesus Christ. Like,
What did we do?
we are going to repent so much on Sunday. Like, this is so much of my paycheck is going to go to offering this Sunday. And I will never forget that moment. And that was one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies of all time. So hats off. You did great, Scott.
Thanks,
that
buddy.
was amazing.
Scott, I gotta say, I think you did really good this week.
Yeah,
You really want to talk
it was a big improvement. I'll admit.
You did fucking great.
And you know what? I got to say, if I'm going to go down with the ship on something, going Christmas Vacation's one I'll live with.
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying that I'm not, and that's to say that like I can't argue with the fact that I might have won it with the original, and it's a great one. But man, I love Christmas Vacation.
It's a great one.
It is.
I mean, it's like one of my top maybe 20 movies of all time. Like,
Shit
in
and
terms of
bricks.
just, I love
Honey, you
it.
got to watch your language. I'm sorry. Shit and rocks.
Shit and rocks.
Oh man!
All right, BVK. That was our draft. It was great. Scotch, thank you for joining us. Josh, thank you for representing
Thanks for
Hoisting
coming in and
Heavys.
drafting,
Dude,
man.
thank you for
Coming in
having me.
and not losing, because I mean, if you lose, you're like never gonna get called back again. You're just like, okay, he's dog shit. He's not coming back. But you beat me,
Hey.
so maybe I should leave the show. I don't know.
It's enough.
I didn't want to say it, but now that you suggested it, I think we have a tough conversation on the way home.
Oh man,
Thanks
so
for giving me a taste.
no problem. So hey, Hoisting Heavies, we can catch you on Instagram. We can catch you on all the podcasts, wherever you're getting your podcast from. You're gonna find Hoisting Heavies. It's Hoisting Heavies, Heavys. Check it
Right.
out.
It's spelled incorrectly for a reason, because if you're hoisting heavies, you're obviously not going to use the correct plural term of heavies. So yeah, go for it.
We've got this. So it's a great podcast. You're going to hear Ed and Josh bringing on all sorts of guests. They brought on tattoo artists. They brought on brewmasters. They brought in all sorts of folks, just friendly people having good conversation. So check them out. You know us, BVK, on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, Twitter. And next week, I'm not going to say where we're going because
We don't know.
we might not be exactly sure what our next move is, but we will let you know on the socials on what you need to watch so you can get ready for the for next Tuesday's pod.
I think we might be doing Angus.
That
With
might
the
be
chick from
true.
Jurassic Park. She was in
Yeah,
Jurassic.
yes.
And
Wait,
Angus,
the young girl or
The young girl.
the young girl, she's bulimic in that movie, right?
And she
Yeah.
quits
Mhm.
acting after
Yeah.
that, actually.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
She just hit the red carpet after this new dog shit movie that I guess Chris Pratt's in.
I think people are
I'm going to go
Mark
see it in the
and
theater.
Dinosaurs.
and I'll let
destroying
you guys
it.
know.
So
Yeah.
I might have to catch up on Jurassic Park 2, 3,
You guys
4,
are really
and
going to
5.
review Angus.
Oh, that's one of my
That's a
favorite
Nate's
movies.
face.
Dude, that is a great movie.
You guys
The
have
soundtrack
You
is
guys have said you're going to do that
good.
before, and then you guys didn't. So
I think it's going to happen. And if that doesn't happen, we might have, I know in our future, we've got Taken coming out. And then other than that, it might be random. Who knows? So you're either going to get a crazy thriller action movie or you're going to get
We haven't
Angus.
released Taken.
Taken is not released. We recorded it back in March, but it's still just waiting there.
Okay. Well, shit. You know what? Roll the dice, everybody.
We have an amazing interview on the Taken episode. You guys better get ready.
All right, folks.
Ready.
This was BVK Podcast. Again, thank you to Hoisting Heavies. Thank you to Scotch Beck. Scotch Beck, you can go to scotchbeck.com and check out all his merch and his music on Spotify and
June
anywhere you get
22nd.
music. June 22nd.
Should be like next week after this comes out.
It might be like when it comes out. No,
Yeah.
June 22nd, go see
No,
Scott
this is the
Beck.
draft, so this is way past
just
that.
check my website and
Scotch
I
Scotch
put on
Beck
my
will be
thing.
playing at a brewery
About a
or
week ago.
somewhere near you soon. And so check him out if you haven't had the chance. He's played Last Call a
God
couple
damn
times. So yeah, support Scotch Beck. And other than that, we will catch you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies, just a blind ride, no reason why. I love this scene. Nick Natek and Brad, your favorite podcast. Let's start